Hi you guys, welcome back to the Dee Dee Hope Center channel. And I thought, you know what, I've got to wash up my jars from my Dandelion Jelly, and why don't I just turn on the camera, because I know I get this a lot. I had no idea Heather I was supposed to wash my jars after a canning session. So I know it's something that's not like shown a lot. I want to say I was one of the first people on YouTube that actually did a dedicated video to cleaning up after a canning session. So it's something that I think it kind of needs to be shared a little bit more and talked about a little bit more. What do you do after you're done canning? Like, where does it go from your counter to your pantry? There's a lot of people that just take them off their counter and put them to the pantry. I, however, wash mine up, dry them off, check them. I check the bands or the rings to make sure none of them are rusty so that they're ready to be reused the next time I can. And then they're labeled and then they go in my pantry. So I figured, you know what, I'm just gonna take you guys with me. I'm gonna do it anyway. So all right, so I'm gonna spin you around and we're gonna get these washed up. Welcome to my kitchen sink. So the first thing I'm gonna do, so I'm going to, my kitchen sink has already done a bunch of dishes and stuff this morning, so it's nice and clean. So I'm just going to go ahead and, I say that, and then there's a piece of bread on the, all right, so I'm going to fill my sink with hot soapy water. I always do 4 pumps of Dawn dish soap. I only use Blue Dawn. I think it washes the best. So let me get the hot water going here. Okay. And once we get it nice and hot, I'm going to go ahead and get this nice hot and soapy. I like these racks on my new, I recently got this kitchen sink a few months ago now, but I like it because it has the rack and my canning jars fit nice on it. So it's like one of those little perks at 52 I really appreciate. All right, now also what I do is I add just a splash of vinegar. It just makes the canning jars sparkle. And it also doesn't hurt your dishes or your glasses. So I don't waste this hot soapy water after I'm done, you know, washing up my jars. Then throughout the day here, as you know, the kids use glasses and plates or bowls or silverware, they'll just go right here in the hot soapy water. And then it just makes loading them in the dishwasher super easy. This is just how my mother always did, and that's how I've always done it since, you know, being married many moons ago. It's just, I always, this is why I like a split sink, because I like one side with hot soapy water and one side for a rinse or to fill a pot or whatever else you need. So I also have this tray that came with my sink. I like this to put my rings in it. Just makes it super handy. So anyway, I'm finally at the age and the maturity of what I like and what I don't like, and just buying and doing things the way that just work for me. So anyway, all right, so I don't need this super full, but enough to where I can, you know, wash my jars up. So so here is a jar. So what I do is I'm going to take off the ring. I'm going to inspect it. I'll wash it, and because sometimes this stuff will come out when you wash. But if I notice anything rusty, okay, like this one to me is starting to get rusty, I will discard it. If there's some surface rust on the outside of my band, I'll keep it, okay? I'll use it. But any kind of rust up in here that sits near my food, absolutely not. I will not use it. So I will take those off. I'll wash them and inspect them. And and then I'll make a judgment call on them. So, but until then, what I do is I take off all the bands and I just put my jars over here, ready to be cleaned. And in the midst of all that, I'll pull back my hair, tie it back. What I love about the dreads is I don't need a hair tie. I can just tie them back. All right. Now that we have all of our rings off, I'm going to go through, okay, make sure that they're all sealed. I love the Superb lids because they really indent down, and so you can see that they're sealed. Where it's not that you can't see it on the ball, because you can see the outline of the button. So you can still tell that they're down, but the Superb really sink in, and man, is that nice. I like it. Okay, so then once let me turn on these under counter lights here. Hopefully that'll help a little bit. Once I inspect them, I just want to make sure that my headspace is good. Okay, I'm at a 1/4 inch headspace, but I want to make sure that the jar itself, and it just looks good. I just take an over glance of how it looks. Just gotten into this habit, and it's just something that I do. So inspect them all. Make sure all the lids are nice and tight. I just pull up on it. If you pull up on it and it's not moving, like somebody said, well, when you're washing it, if it doesn't, that lid will pop right out, and you are right. I try to catch it before I do it and put it in the water. That way I don't ruin the jelly, because I have done that before. So this is just years of trial and error and learning the hard way sometimes on things. So, all right, now, so I'm going to get a clean dishcloth. And now I am going to, and I have over there, I have a towel that I'm going to set my jars on. Hopefully you guys can see all that. All right, so now I'm going to take my towel. I don't submerge this, okay? Now, if I have big jars, you can set them in here, but I never submerge these. I wash the top. I come in under here, because especially with jelly, this is where any kind of jelly that might have evacuated during your canning process, which is why I never use rusty bands, because it will, your food will touch it, but anything that might have come out, it's going to be sticky under here. And if it's sticky under here and you have jelly on the outside of this rim, what's going to happen is, over time, as it sits in your pantry, that's going to mold. And if that mold grows up under that lid, it's going to pop that lid. So we can avoid all of that if we just wash our jar. Okay, so then I come around to the jar, and I'll always end at the bottom. Okay, and then in cooler water, I give it a nice rinse, and I set it off to the side. Okay, so we'll do another one together. So I'm washing the top, I'm coming in, and I'm following all underneath that lid, all underneath there, all the way around, and then I'll come back in around where that band sits, all the way around, and then I will wash the jar and finish on the bottom. Give it a nice rinse. And there you go. So, I'll just do this. And, you know, again, it's tedious, right? But I take my time. I don't rush. I've invested a lot of money in this, like a lot of time, a lot of money. I don't want to get, just say lazy. I don't want to get lazy. I don't want to get passive about it. I don't want to get to the very end and lose a jar of food because I didn't wash it properly or I didn't wash it at all. So these are just really good canning habits to get into early on if you're a new canner. Me and my girlfriend Constance were laughing because I debubble liquid. I do. Even if it's liquid, I still debubble it. Why? Because I'm just in the habit. Now, give me grace because I do have 2 traumatic brain injuries. And so for me, it's just easier to follow a routine than it is to pivot and do different things every single time. It's just easier for my brain just to, you know, just to be used to something. So I do debubble liquid. But it's just a habit. It's just a habit. And if I'm in the habit of always debubbling, then I won't forget to debubble. At least that's for me. So same thing with this. Like if I just get into the good, clean habit of washing, checking, making sure everything is okay. Now, that's not to say that, you know, this isn't still going to pop a lid eventually in my pantry. There could be jelly stuck under there. It might, over time, it might be fine for a year, and, you know, on year 2, it might pop a seal. You just don't know. But I know at this point, by doing this, that I have done everything in my power to keep it clean. Now, I've also noticed in the comment section, like, a lot of people will talk about not eating people's home canned food because they know that the person that's canning it isn't very clean. And so that is always in the back of my mind as well. Like, when I gift you something, I want you to know that it's clean. Like, it is prepared correctly. It is like everything that went into canning, all of my supplies, my lids, like everything was clean. My kitchen is clean. My habits are clean. It's just, I want you to, if you are gifted something from me, I don't want you to have to worry about, ooh, I don't know. I don't know if I should eat this. You know, I've been in her kitchen, it ain't very clean, or I've seen her cleaning habits. They're not very good. So this way, you know, it just sets you up for success. You know, just being clean, being organized, doing things in proper order, caring. Like, it really is about caring. You know, I want my jars to be beautiful. I want them to look beautiful. When you open it, I want it to smell delicious. And then, of course, I want it to taste delicious. I mean, I don't go through all of this, you know, for you to look at it and it looks like, you know, a science experiment gone wrong, you know. I want you to, you know, look at it, go into my pantry. If you have to feed my children, because I'm in the hospital, and this has happened twice now for us. I want, you know, I want my dad or my stepmom, or, you know, I want my sister to be able to go in my pantry and know what everything is, because everything is labeled, everything is organized, everything is clean. And my pantry is a blessing, not a curse. I don't want it to be a curse for anyone. Okay, so here we go with the rings. Okay, so we're gonna aim it down. So now when I wash with rings, I hold my cloth out. Now for you canning queens and kings out there, you probably don't need to see all this. This video really is for the newbies out there. So what I'm going to do first is I grab them with my fingers, okay, and I spin the ring in my hand so that on the inside with my fingers, I'm really, if you could focus camera, I would appreciate it. There we go. So that with my fingers, I'm really getting in every nook and cranny of that ring. And I'll go around a few times. When I know it's clean, I will inspect the ring. Now, for me, this one is just too rusty. It's getting too rusty. You see it? That's too much for me. I don't want... Would I lick it? That's my question. If you can look at a ring and say, yeah, I would lick it with my tongue right now, then by all means, it's still usable. But if I wasn't going to lick that, why would I want my food touching it? I don't. So this ring is a no. Now, there's like lots of projects that you can do with canning rings, old canning rings, and you can paint them too. Like you can make different decorations and stuff like that with them. So it doesn't have to be a complete loss. You see that one? Too rusty. Now these have been used for quite a bit, so even though you saw my video, they went on nice. Some of them are just, they've been used now one too many times. So this one is still good. This one's got, you know, a little bit of rust in one area, but this one's still usable. So that one I will rinse. This one, let's see. This one's still good and usable. I would lick it if I had to. Same with this one. So you can see, like, these are just tin, okay? So they're not going to be like mirror perfect, especially if you use them a lot. But as long as they don't have rust, I'm good with. So I'll rinse that one. Let's see what other ones we got here. I knew yesterday, I'm like, oh, some of these have to be changed out. And this one is good. So sometimes you'll get discoloring. Okay, so the black, the oxidization on them is fine. And you'll get some of that. I'm strictly looking for the brown rust. It's the rust I don't want. The oxidization, which is black, totally different. That's fine. And that one is fine. Hopefully you can see that. Hopefully my camera is focusing. So no rust. This one's a little too, it's like, it's just on the verge. So we're gonna scrap that because I would not eat off of that. I would not lick it. All right. I'm gonna get a couple strays here. Fresh water on my cloth. Okay, this one is still good. Some oxidization, but no rust. Now, what's important with these rings to get the most life out of them before they start rusting, like this one is a little too much rust in there for me. You see it? Too much. Oh, thank you. I mean, I can get a brand new bag of them, you know, for like $4 at the Mennonite store. So this one's got oxidization, but no rust. So that one's still good. And then this one. This one's getting too rusty. Okay, so now the key to keeping these as rust-free as possible is to dry them. Okay, so they're rinsed off. Of course, we're going to dry those. I'm going to get a fluffy towel. All right, so let me take you over to the island. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is dry the rings. All right, so same way as I wash, I want to get my fingers right inside of that and make sure that these are completely dry. And then I'll set them off to the side. I don't put them away, like especially if you're like me and you store them in, I store mine in plastic gallons, Ziploc baggies. You want to make sure that you just let these sit out and dry before you do that, because any kind of moisture condensation can cause rust. So, and we don't want that. So, I'm just gonna give these a really good dry. And just spread them out. Okay, so hopefully you can see that. So inside, it's totally washed, totally clean. Okay. Totally washed, clean, and no rust. All right, now we will get to our jars. So same thing with the jars. I like to dry up top. I like to go around and get underneath the lid. Then dry the body and the bottom. Nice and dry. Let's set it out. Okay. Same thing. Now, what I do love about the ball lids over the Superb is the fact that you can write, and they have a date area, so you can write what you canned and the date. Where the Superb lids, you know, this is raised, so it's a little harder to do. You have to write what you canned on the top, date on the bottom. It's just not as neat. And as somebody who really likes tidiness and organization and, you know, place for everything and everything has its place, that bums me out. Just being honest. So Superb, if you listen to this, that bums me out. But that loud ping almost makes up for it. So all right, drying under the body, bottom. And now you know when you put your jars in the pantry that these are clean. There's no stickiness to them. There's not going to be any mold growing. They're going to live beautifully in your pantry until you're ready to either open it and use it or gift it out. Okay, so now when we're all done and they're nice and dry, now it's time to label them. So whatever you're going to put on there, like for my barbecue sauce, I'll just put barbecue sauce, you know, however you want to do it. Of course, these might be gifted. So Dandelion Jelly. And I don't put the actual date, I put the month and the year. Just like that. Okay. So just like that. All right. I'm just gonna keep going here. Okay, so now that we've done all that, I'm going to show you really quickly, like if I were to gift this to somebody. So what would I do, how I would do that? So you can do this a couple of ways. My favorite way lately, well, let's do the traditional way. Traditional way, if I was giving this as a gift, you can take a piece of cloth. You can just go get some fabric. It would be really cute if you got like dandelions, but we're gonna use a cherry one. And you put it on there, and then with your ring, you put the ring on, and then you've got the little piece of, this is like traditional, right? When you buy jams and jellies, like this is very old school, and I think it's adorable, especially like I said, if you match the pattern, if you had like, if you were doing blueberry jam or blueberry pepper jelly or blueberry pie filling, you could find like a blueberry, you know, pattern. If you are into fabric and you're like a sewer or, you know, seamstress, something like that, this might really be fun for you. The way that I like to give jelly or jam or anything like that as a gift is I like to buy these plastic lids on Amazon and I buy them in bulk, and I like to buy all the colors. So if I was doing blueberry jam, or you know, something like that, I would use like a purple or blue. Like I put a blue one on here for blueberry. If I was doing a pepper jelly, I might use a red, or I might use a green. But if I'm doing something like dandelion jelly, I would use a yellow lid. And that way they have a lid. Once they open this and they put it in the fridge, instead of giving away my bands, you know, most people will just put a band on it and they'll give a gift like this. I like to keep my bands because it's a tool, right? I use it to can. So I would rather give you one of these. And I have noticed that when you give a plastic lid like this with a gift, more times than not, people will return the jar with the lid because you gave them a lid. So I don't know what it is. You give a gift like this, you're never probably going to see your jar come back. However, if you give them a plastic lid, for some reason, people will wash out the jar and they'll return it to you just like this, but empty. And I always tell people, if you return the jar and the lid, I will give you a free refill. I'll give you something else to enjoy. So I don't know what it is about the lids, but people just feel more prone to return it. It's almost like they took something out of your kitchen, where the jar itself they don't think of, and really the money is in the jar. So these are very inexpensive. I will leave links down below to the ones that I buy. I buy them for the wide mouth as well. And this is just nice because, like I tell them, when you pop this off, don't save this, just throw it away. Use this, and if you want to, you can write on this with a black magic marker, Dandelion Jelly. That will wash off. It washes off. So it doesn't ruin the plastic lid or anything. And then that way you know what's in there. And it just keeps fresher. These little guys come with a little seal that you put in. Whenever I get a shipment of them, I sit there, I'll wash them all, and then I'll sit there at the table and I'll put all the seals in, so they're ready to go. So I don't ever have to fidget with them. They're just in my drawer. I keep those in a gallon-sized bag too, and they're just always ready to go, ready to use. So that's what I do. Anyway, all right, that's it. I hope this was helpful, especially for you new canners out there that might not, you know exactly what to do after you're done canning. I know I've been there. You know, when I first started canning, I'm like, what do I do now? What's the next step? What do I do? So I figured I would share this and just show you what I do. Everybody has their different system, but I would highly recommend, you know, washing, drying, really taking care of your rings so that they don't rust on you. Make sure that they're washed thoroughly so that there's no sticky, you know, I might use this for green beans coming up, or stock or something. I don't want jelly on them. They're washed, they're clean, they're not going to get moldy. Because they're dried after they're washed, they last a bit longer before they get rusty. And then when they get rusty, just replace them. I have like a whole huge box. If you're legit a canning queen, you will have more of these than you even know what to do with. I literally have them packed in boxes because I have so many. So, you know, it's nothing to just change them out, keep them clean, keep them rust free so that they're not next to your food. And when you gift this to somebody, somebody isn't opening this up with, let me see, like a rusty ring. You know, somebody opens this up as a gift and they see rust under there. It's gross. And for somebody who doesn't can, all they see is the rust. So that's the image that you're leaving them with. And more than likely, people aren't even going to want to eat what's in your jar because, you know, they're opening it up and it's icky. So that's not the experience I want my loved ones, friends and family to experience. So I go the extra mile. Legit, this took me 10 minutes to do, 10-15 minutes. And it's just part of the process. So To God be the glory. Thank you, Lord, for all the blessings. And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put all these away in my pantry. And I hope this was a blessing to you. I love you guys, and I will be seeing you back here soon. All right, take care. God bless.